First up, my golden chicken and lentil feast. This is a good one, inspired by France. This meal is like a nice little hug. Comfort food at its best, chicken with garlic and smoky pancetta, and then oozy lentils. This is classic French country cooking, wholesome, warm and delicious. Beautiful Pouille lentils are from the Auvergne region of southern France. Known as poor man's caviar, they're delicious, cooked in this classic French way. Rich, earthy and served alongside succulent golden chicken with a hint of spice. Absolutely gorgeous, all mopped up with a crusty loaf. Fabulous French-inspired food for four in just 15 minutes. I don't think in Britain we really know how to love lentils enough. I want to show you. So first job up, we got lentils. I've got 2 little carrots and an onion here. All I want to do is get them in the processor. Obviously, in 15-minute meals, you know, we want to push the time, we want to push the prep. So just take the end off an onion, remove the outer skin, and we're using the processor to save us time, but also it's going to beat in some flavour. So what do I mean by that? Well, in our processor, we're going to throw in the halves of onion. We've got some carrot. You don't have to peel it, just throw them in like that. And then I want to get some herbs in as well. I've got some beautiful rosemary, so nice, savoury flavours. This is the base to making gorgeous, gorgeous lentils. So wazz this up. So just stop it like that. Literally 7 seconds of whizzing gives you that. Nice and fine, and it's bruised in that rosemary, which can only be a good thing. Tablespoon of olive oil into a pan, and let's get every little last bit of the onion and carrot in there. I think the carrot's really important for colour and flavour, sweetness. The pan is hot, so give them a little shake, keep an eye on them. While that's sweating off, I'm just going to jump from lentil action to chicken action. So pan is on, large non-stick pan. So lay them out like this. I want to season them with salt from a height and pepper from a height. And then we want some cayenne pepper, just to give it a little bit of a spice. Get me hand in here. Do you think I've got enough cayenne in my house? Just dust one side of the chicken. It's got such a beautiful colour. This is going to give us lovely, lovely flavour. So just move the chicken breast around in that seasoning so it gets a little bit of everything on both sides. We'll go into this pan as well with a tablespoon of olive oil, and we'll go straight in with that chicken. The pan is on a medium heat at the moment. You know, this is going to cook for about 10 minutes, which is a nice pace to build up colour and keep it juicy on the inside. I'm not want to rush it, so I'm going to turn it down. At the same time, I want to build a story of flavour in this pan. So just get a bulb of garlic, just crack in some cloves. You know, in 10 minutes of cooking, they'll start to sweeten and get soft. It's really gorgeous. You can mush up a bit of garlic, have a bit of chicken. It's just, it works really, really well. So move that around. Also, I want some other herbs in here. You could use rosemary or thyme, but I quite like the idea of just grabbing a little bit of everything. So we've got some thyme in here, we've got some rosemary in here, got some bay leaves. You know, the oils are going to come out of those herbs and cook into that chicken. The chicken's skinless, so, you know, it's lean quality protein, but we're adding beautiful flavours. We're not sort of taking away. So there we go, a beautiful pan of gorgeousness. Leave the chicken sizzling away on a medium heat. Now it's back to those beautiful lentils. We're going to go for tinned lentils here. You can get them in Tetra Pak as well. They're really, really good quality. They're already cooked, and they're generally cooked in a sort of fragranced broth or water. You know, tinned things are seen as very down market, and sometimes they can put a load of old rubbish in a tin. But, you know, tinned tomatoes, brilliant. Beans, chickpeas, fantastic. I'm using a Pouille lentil. Pouille is a district of France where they have this lovely dark lentils. And actually the juice that they come in, we're putting it all into the pan. If you just look at these lentils, see, they've been beautifully cooked. They're not overcooked, they're not mushy, they're not frumpy. So they're actually in a really good place for me to flavour and build on. So, such a lot of flavour will be created so quick, you will not believe it. It's come to the boil, so just give them a stir. I want to just put in a tomato, a nice ripe tomato, just one. Hack it up into roughly a centimetre dice. The acidity of the tomato helps to tenderize the outer skin of beans and lentils. So often when you cook pulses, you know, a little potato and a little tomato are put in the base to sort of help break down the outside so it's nice and tender. So the tomatoes go in, and also if you look in the pan now, you know, in a nice way, it's quite frumpy and dark. So to put a little bit of tomato in there just to brighten it up is gorgeous. Now, I'm just going to put the lid on here. I've got a loaf here, a nice little French-style loaf. I'm going to put this in just to heat up. 180, get it crispy on the outside, fluffy in the middle. So it's chicken, oozy lentils, rip off a bit of bread, mop it up. Beautiful little combo.
Everything's on the go. Time to rock between the two pans and add a few touches to bring the whole delicious meal together.
The chicken's looking gorgeous. Give them a good old toss around like that. Look at the colours, they look fantastic. A nice little tip on the chicken, just get the fish slice and just push it down on that fat side, just to make sure all of the chicken's touching the bottom of that pan, which will make it have better contact, better crust, better flavour and cook quicker. So we'll do that. And another lovely little thing to go with lentils is spinach. You know, the bags are already washed. 200 grams goes in, shove it in there. Look at that, that's lovely. That's exactly what we want. What's nice is the spinach is cut around the same size as the lentils. That's the kind of point of doing that. And if you put whole spinach leaves in there, it'd be lovely, but just it will kind of be harder to serve. So spinach goes in, chicken's looking good. I'm just going to put this chicken to one side now, and I've got some spare room, and I just want to put in 4 rashers of streaky bacon, or this is Italian stuff, nice thin pancetta. Look how lovely and fine it is. So again, quick flavours. Bacon and chicken is going to be gorgeous. So lay that in. And then also, I'm just going to line up. Look how nice that chicken looks. Oh, garlic, herbs, you can't knock it, can you? I quite like pushing things to one side in the pan. And that's also why it's important to have, you know, a nice large pan in the house. 8 asparagus goes in. These don't need much cooking at all. So give that a good old shake. Just taking in all that beautiful flavour, the herbs. Gorgeous. So we'll let those crispen up.
Pancetta is a great way of adding a little bit of extra seasoning. Next, let's inject a last blast of flavour into those lentils to finish them off.
Secret ingredient, a little bit of red wine vinegar, like a little cap full. For some reason, lifts it all. So I'm going to stir that in. Beautiful colour. I'm going to turn the heat off now. Seasoning's good. And I've got another thing that loves lentils, and that's yoghurt. About 3 or 4 heaped tablespoons go in, right? Like couscous and rice, it absolutely loves it. So I'm just going to rip all that in, marble it. It's off the heat now. You're going to see it just relax it, like that. So look, I'm going to take off the chicken, because I know they're cooked, and we're going to cut them in half in a minute, and you can double check that. Look at that pile of garlic and herbs, and it's all sort of gnarly and sizzling. If you look in the pan here, see all this goodness here? That's what we want this asparagus to sort of benefit from. So bacon's good, asparagus is good. Give it a right good shake around the pan to sort of clean off all of those beautiful flavours. So they're nice, chicken's nice. Let's serve this up.
Pour out those steaming oozy lentils.
And then I'm going to get my asparagus and just sort of sprawl it all over the shop.
Slice up that golden caramelised chicken. Top with all those lovely herbs, crispy pancetta and gorgeous garlic.
And don't forget, I've got the bread in the oven.
And finish with a few spoons of fresh creamy yoghurt.
So there you go, guys. Garlicky, bacony chicken and lentils, but not as you know it. Beautiful.
Gorgeous French country cooking in just 15 minutes.
Look at this. Rip up a little bit of bread, mop up the juices. You've got to try it. The lentils, for me, are so good. I really think even people, oh, I'm not really sure, once they put it in their gob, they're going to be all into it. Oh, yeah. Some nice little cheats in that recipe. Massive flavour, very, very quick. You're going to love that one. Cheers. Next, when you eat it, it's just heaven in a nutshell. I'll show you a Middle Eastern feast with my fancy falafel wraps. And just eat it quickly. That's all you've got to do, just eat it. Now I'm cooking up the ultimate Middle Eastern treat. Falafel have long been a street food favourite, eaten in bustling markets and street corners all around the world. Gorgeous, nutty and lightly spiced, with a wholesome crunchiness perfect for squashing into a wrap with some smoky char-grilled veg and a splash of funky fresh tomato salsa. And my falafel aren't frumpy, they're fun, flavoursome mouthfuls. It's a winner, all in 15 minutes. Okay, falafels, we love them. It's street food, it's gorgeous, you know, inspired by all that Middle Eastern sort of vibe. You know, it's a fantastic meat-free way to have beautiful protein, and you can flavour them in so many ways. You can eat them in so many different ways. I'm doing them in a wrap, which is going to be gorgeous. And they're so, so simple to make. And also, by not deep frying them, you know, lightly frying them in lovely olive oil, you can make them much, much healthier. So, first up, I've got 1 tin of mixed beans. And there's like kidney beans in there, cannellini beans, you know, a mixture of different beans. And then I've got some chickpeas. Just give them a good old shake and drain them. We go straight over to a food processor. Really need these to make your life a lot easier. So what we want to do is flavour those. So a nice pinch of pepper, a good pinch of salt, and then we're going to go in there with the stalks of about, let's say, that much, sort of a regular small-sized bunch of coriander. I'll take the top off for garnish and nice things later, and the stalks can go in here. Beautiful flavour in there. I want to get some perfume going into there, so I'm going to use a lemon, oh, it's a bit of a frisky one, and a fine grater, okay? And these fine graters, you can get them on a box grater. They're so good for just taking the bare, beautiful, fragrant zest off of here, and this is wonderful in cooking. So that's going to lighten, you know, because those beans have got a wonderful texture. They're going to allow you to have a falafel that's crispy on the outside and fluffy in the middle, but they're kind of, the flavours are a bit down just with that. So I just want to edge those flavours up. So I want a little more help. One friend that I've got here is harissa. Fantastic ground chilies with a little oil. I've got some allspice here. It's a mixture of black pepper, cumin, cinnamon, and a little nutmeg. So a heaped teaspoon of that goes in there. A little bit Christmassy, a little bit mulled winey, those flavours. And then I've got some nice harissa here, about a tablespoon. And then I want plain flour. That's going to help bind it. It's going to help get that nice crispy top. So 1 heaped tablespoon going in there like that. Waz that up, takes seconds. Those hints of lemon zest, chili and spice will really lift this mix and bring the falafel to life. Nice. It's dead easy doing this. It's good fun. I've got a little trick for you. Get it all out. Try and get as much out as possible. Use a spatula. So we've got our falafel mix here. Go and wet your hands. Obviously you want clean hands, but having wet hands is really helpful. It allows it to not stick to your hands. So we can just move it around like that. We can divide it into half, then into quarters, and then each quarter into 2. So we want 8 little balls, right? My pan is hot, and just with the wet hands, you can make a decent little patty like that. Pat it down like that, and it won't stick too badly. I'm just going to put a tablespoon of olive oil in there and put my little falafel in there. I don't want to spend loads of time doing this because I want them to all cook at the same time. So I'm just going to pat them down. Here we go. I'll kind of put them in almost like meatballs. You can really get most of that falafel off the bottom of your board as well. So I'm just going to pat this out a little bit. Keep them all separate like this. Let them have a little fry up. We'll have that on a medium heat until really golden on each side.
Flattening my falafel increases the area hitting the heat, which helps them to go really golden and crispy. Now I want to contrast that with some colourful char-grilled veg.
I've got some peppers, red and yellow. The old trick of just get your 2 thumbs in here, push them in, and then just rip open this bad boy. So we get rid of him. Same again there, rip it open, pull it out. And then in our griddle pan here, just tear it up into random pieces. You know, these are going to go in your wraps, so, you know, depends how big your mouth is. Don't say anything, I know what you're going to say. And then I've got 4 spring onions here. I'm simply going to just cut them in half, just like that. Throw them in, get them in the mix. And they'll char and they'll do nice things. I'm going to season these, a little salt and pepper, because that's what they want, right? And just let them char up while these are cooking.
So I'll leave my peppers to soften and sweeten, I'll check up on my falafel, and my next job is a super fresh quick salsa.
Now, you can wash this out if you want. I'm not bothered. So I'm going to whack in there some nice ripe tomatoes, a little handful. A good pinch of salt and pepper, and then we want to go in with half, see these coriander leaves here? Go in with half of those, right? And then I want to get some real flavour and sort of zing in there. 1 or 2 limes, it really depends how sort of juicy yours are. Give them a little roll up like this. Let's try one first and see where we're at. Squeeze in the juice. Oh, that's a nice juicy one. I probably only need one then. In there like that. And a fresh chilli for that beautiful fragrance. You know, always try your fresh chilli. Sometimes if they don't water them for a couple of days, they get all hotter all of a sudden. So just always worth trying a bit so it doesn't stitch you up. And then I'm going to use a garlic crusher. I'm going to leave my garlic unpeeled, put it in there, bosh it, squeeze it. Nice. Okay, so let's zip this up. Nice, fresh, delicious salsa. You can go kind of coarse and crude. You can go in the middle. Or you can go fine. Let's have a little taste up. Does it need salt? No, it's fine. Does it need chili? No, it's fine. It's good. I'm happy with that. OK, so that's looking good. Let's get a couple of little dishes. I'm going to use my old cups because I like them. They remind me of me nan. Me nan's a beautiful woman. Bless her heart. OK, so pour that lovely fresh salsa into there. And some leftover, which I can use as a dressing another day. I can smell some nice toasting going on. Let's get into these falafels now. Let's flip these over. Yes. What's nice about this is we're creating incredible crispness without deep frying, you know? So we'll just toss those over, and these are cooking in lovely extra virgin olive oil, nice and slow, nice and slow. They're looking good. I'm well chuffed. I've got a salsa. I've got me veggies. Let's have a little look at the veggies. All I've got to do here is stir it up. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just give it a little shake up. You don't want to cook them all through, but you're kind of taking the rawness out of the peppers and putting char and flavour on. They're looking really good. Nice. Exciting little dinner going on here.
So my peppers are charring perfectly. My falafel are getting nice and golden. And now it's the final touch, my creamy chili spiked sauce.
I've got some beautiful cottage cheese. I'm going to grab some red pickle as well. And it tastes absolutely delicious. And it's virtually fat-free. I don't know how they do it. So we've got about 250 grams just going into my little cup here. And I'm going to grab some chili sauce. And I'm just going to douse this in the chili sauce. And before you say it, look, the cottage cheese is so refreshing, right? About a tablespoon of that sauce goes on. It really isn't going to make it super hot at all, I can promise you. But that, with these falafels, is off the chart. It's incredible. All I'm going to do now is get some tortillas here. You can get the whole wheat ones, which are really nice to try. Just as a wodge, just put them into the microwave and just give them 30 seconds, not to cook them or make them crispy, just to make them soft and steamy and pliable to wrap up things. Grab a platter or a tray and let's just make our lovely little world here.
First, tangy tomato salsa and that creamy chili dip. The tortillas are steaming and ready for wrapping.
It's like a deck of cards, but full of steam.
Then dish out the lovely smoky sweet char grilled veg. And those knockout crispy golden falafels.
Crispy, golden, delicious.
Scatter over some fresh fragrant coriander. And I love to finish it with some tangy pickled red cabbage.
When you eat it, it's just heaven in a nutshell. It's exciting food. You know it makes sense. You know it's going to be gorgeous. And then quite simply, fold it up and just eat it quickly. That's all you've got to do, just eat it.
Stunning street food fit for a king. Fantastic falafel wraps in just 15 minutes.
So yummy. And just roll up that falafel. And look at that. A nice little wrap of gorgeousness. There's so many different flavors in there. You know, the salsa is a million miles away from the curd cheese, a million miles away from the grilled veg, a million miles away from the falafel, all in that soft, steamy little wrap. So good.
First up, fish stew with garlic bread and a cheap saffron aioli.
I absolutely love this dish. It's the best fun to make. It's really luxurious, it looks the business, and it's gonna get you brownie points.
This fabulous fish stew is a winner. A rich, fragrant tomato broth loaded with fresh fish and shellfish. It's a bit of a showy number. Served with a gorgeous herby garlic bread and a wonderful cheap saffron aioli. But where normally these sides will be loaded with butter and mayo, my 15-minute meal versions are much lighter and healthier. So you can serve up this fiendish feast for 4, guilt-free. Flashy fish stew in just 15 minutes. First job, garlic bread without a hint of butter in sight.
I've got a ciabatta loaf here. I want to kind of spike it and make it gorgeous and garlicky and herby. So I'm just going to run a knife halfway down the bread like that, dead simple, and then go across like this. And what I want to do with this lovely humble old ciabatta is just bring it back to life. So yes, the oven's going to make it crisp on the outside, fluffy on the middle, but we want to get it garlicky and herby. So just grab a nice old bulb of garlic. We want about as many garlics as gets you going. So let's just say 3 or 4 cloves. I'm going to get the garlic crusher with the skin on, and I'm just going to fire it into the ciabatta like that. Take it out, pull off the skin, garlic in, gorgeous. And then we want some herbage, so you can really use what you like. I'm going to go over here, I've got some thyme. You could use rosemary. So just ripping off some beautiful lemon thyme here. And here I've got some oregano. Basically, you can use whatever you like. So simply just pick the oregano over the top here, like that. The thyme is gorgeous. Really, I'm just going to leave it whole, and it's just going to kind of fall off. Some will go in, some won't. And then I'm going to drizzle it with some quality extra virgin olive oil. Just a tablespoon goes on like that, and then a pinch of salt and pepper. And then simply, where you've got those cuts, just open it out and rub that garlic and rub those herbs into all the little cracks and crannies. Push the garlic in there, and it's supposed to be rustic, no mucking about. So as soon as you've done that, you're ready to go. So I'm going to whack that in the oven. I've got the temperature at 220 degrees Celsius, about 425 Fahrenheit, and then we're on to the fish stew.
The flavours of this fish stew need to be rich and robust, so I've got a few tricks to create a really tasty broth in no time.
So we're going to use spring onions because they cook much, much quicker than the regular onions. I want about 4 nice spring onions in there. I want some chilli. I've got some fennel. Look at the fennel. It's absolutely gorgeous. Aniseedy and crunchy. And all these herbs are absolute gold dust. So we're going to just cut that top of the fennel off. Now, if you want to be super quick with this, you can do it in a food processor. But you know what? It's so quick, I'm just going to cut them on a knife, and you'll see this thing all come together. So with the spring onions, I'm just going to slice it up about a centimetre thick. 4 spring onions. So I'm going to push these to one side. Lovely chilli, works so well with tomato and seafood. I'm going to put about, let's say, 3/4 of a fresh chilli in there, but you put as much or as little as you like. So I'm going to push that over here. And then the fennel, I'm just gonna slice it up. Sort of, you can use, even if you're rubbish with a knife, you know, you can tap like that, or you can just take your time. This recipe's so quick, it's gonna look after you. So we've got that there, a little assembly. We're all ready and ready to go. I've got some anchovies here. Now, I'm not using anchovies as a flavour, I'm using it as a seasoning. Just 3 or 4 anchovies lost in this dish will be fantastic. It's like putting a little turbocharge on the flavour. That can go in there. That'll just melt away, disappear, and we can start cooking. Dead simple.
A couple of tablespoons of olive oil go into a hot pan. Then add the anchovies and all those lovely ingredients to create a really tasty base for the fish stew.
So we just move that fennel around like that. And of course, a little bit of salt and pepper, just to get the base of seasoning happening there as well. Once it's had a few seconds, I'm gonna get some more garlic in the story. So just 2 cloves goes in, stir it. And if you look in the pan now, sort of, the onions have started to soften. Everything's getting a little bit floppy now. And you can see it's happening really fast. It sounds exciting. Now we're gonna put wine in and cook it away. So I'm gonna go in with about half a glass of white wine.
On a high heat, the alcohol quickly cooks away and the aromatic flavours of the wine are really intensified.
It's going to absorb into the veggies. It's going to mix up the chilli to the onion to the fennel, the anchovies, the garlic. As soon as that wine's cooked away, we go in with a jar of passata. It's about 700 mils. I'm just going to put a little bit of boiling water or some water into a jar. Give it a shake. So look, as this comes to the boil, right, I want to show you some basic fish prep. So this is monkfish here. I'm going to slice it about 1 centimetre thick. The lovely thing is you are controlling how long it takes to cook. This will take about 3 minutes, 4 minutes to cook, right? The shellfish will take about 3 or 4 minutes to open. If we look at this red mullet, look how thick it is. It's the same thickness that we've cut the monkfish here, and it's going to take the same amount of time to cook as well. So basically what I'm doing is we're equalising cooking times. We don't want something that cooks for 10 minutes and 2 minutes. So slice up the sea bass, so everyone gets a bit. And what I want to do now is go in with the clams and the mussels. They go first, because those shells have got to heat up before the heat can get inside. And then we're going to lay the monkfish in and around, like that. And then we go in with the sea bass, plonk, plonk. It feels luxurious, but it's so damn simple. You can throw these prawns in. I'm gonna leave these ones with shell on, because you actually get quite a lot of flavour from the shell. You can pop their little heads in there like that. And then last but not least, just pick some nice big basil leaves and just tear in some basil and stir it in, and that's gonna scent the tomato sauce in the most beautiful way. Look at that, you can see it's boiling already. I'm just gonna turn it down so it's like a nice little simmer. The lid goes on.
This will take just 4 minutes to cook. So now it's time to crack on with the aioli. A gorgeous, unctuous, garlicky sauce. But where it's usually made with mayo, I want to make something much lighter.
I'm using yoghurt here, completely fat-free. And this is going to be the basis to my sauce. Now, we want to flavour it first, OK? So I'm going to take a clove of garlic. Raw garlic is hot. It really is hot and pungent. So what I want to do is pop that garlic in here. And then the next bit is a good pinch of salt. And I'm going to use saffron. It's an incredible flavour, and the colour is fantastic. So a pinch like this is going to go a long, long way. Just put that in to there. Right? So just pound up the garlic and the salt into the saffron. It'll start really bringing this incredible colour out of the saffron. I'm just going to cut a lemon up and just squeeze in a quarter of a lemon. Look at that colour. And just muddle it for a bit. We've got time. Now we're going to go in with 3 heaped tablespoons of yoghurt, completely fat-free. Look at that, just ripple. And it's going to really become luminous and yellow so beautiful. And the more you muddle it, the more yellow it gets. If I made this same quantity with mayonnaise, this would be over 800 calories. Making it like this, 80, and it's delicious. So just being clever about cooking, look at that. Oh, yes. So just have a little taste of this. Oh my, it is so good. And that, when that goes in this, right, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And if we get in there, so exciting, and pull out some of these beautiful mussels and clams. So good. Look at those prawns. As soon as those mussels are open, the fish dish is done. So a little shake. Look at that. We are done. Are you ready?
Flashy fish stew with that golden cheese aioli and the hot herby garlic bread. Top it all off with those delicate fennel tops.
Look at that. An absolutely gorgeous 15-minute meal. Beautiful. The minute that raw garlic hits the hot broth, something bonkers happens in that bowl and then in your mouth. That is ridiculous. The flavour, I've got to tell you, is phenomenal, and it's so good.
Next, we rewrite the rules on salad with my seared Asian beef extravaganza.
That, for me, is a bold, confident statement about food. That's what 15-minute meals is all about.
This Asian-inspired salad is a joy. We've got noodles, gorgeous slices of spicy seared beef, and the most amazing zingy ginger dressing. It looks like loads to do, but we're going to be building the salad while we cook the steak, till you end up with this beautiful, healthy, vibrant rainbow on a plate. A gorgeous lunch or dinner for four. A true explosion of colours and tastes, and all of that in just 15 minutes.
One of the nice things about this recipe is I'm going to give you these key principles to make the elements taste delicious. But the great thing is we can be using bits and pieces from the fridge and just bring this whole salad into full effect with colour and different textures, and that's what I'm really after. So let's get cracking. First things first, let's talk about nuts, baby. Let's get some cashews, just a handful, about 50 grams, go in there. Sesame seeds, much, much smaller, of course, but beautiful flavour. Look at that, about a tablespoon goes in. And this is going to kind of be like a really tasty sprinkle that goes on the salad at the very, very end. Some sunflower seeds. And by the way, when I say salad, it's not a demotion, this is properly exciting. Just keep an eye on those and don't burn them. I've got my boiling water from the kettle. As per usual, we never ever wait for water to boil in 15-minute meals. Get the kettle going. I've got some lovely Asian noodles, rice noodles. They might call them vermicelli or angel hair. You want about 200 grams here, is more than enough to go in there. And you don't need to boil them. We're just going to put it into the boiled water, and over the course of 4 minutes, 5 minutes, they just wilt and sag. Just put them in there like that.
These noodles are going to give the salad some body and carry all of the exciting flavours, starting with our gorgeous sizzling beef.
Now, in Asia, they don't go, you know, throwing loads and loads of meat on loads of dishes. You know, little delicate little chunks or slices, you know, a little goes a long way. And that's the part of the beauty of this. We're going to use one beautiful rump steak. So what I'm going to do is cut this fat off, right? And that is just going to allow the meat to cook really evenly. It's going to allow us to slice it much, much more nicely and evenly. So we'll get rid of the fat. And what we want to do now is add back love, because fat is flavour, but we're going to put flavour back in its place. Let's season the meat and the board with lovely sea salt. Be generous with pepper, OK? Season the board as well. I've got a really important spice here that's going to sort of add that flavour back. 5 spice, about a heaped tablespoon, just put on the steak and the board. And just move this steak around that seasoning, move it around, and it's going to stick to it. And it's going to create the most amazing, amazing crust. I don't want to bash it out. I want the steak to remain plump and fat. Let's just check my nuts. We've got a bit of colour happening here. What we've done is sort of wake up all the natural oils. So these are all going to taste 5 times more exciting now. And also, we've got nice colour as well. So I'm just going to put those to the side. We're going to go back into this pan with about a tablespoon of oil, and we're going to go straight in with a steak. Now, of course, you can cook this to your liking, but I do about, in a screaming hot pan, 2.5 minutes on each side. Should be sort of medium rare. I want to kind of create like a layer on the steak that's dark, it's got attitude, it's got flavour. I call it a bark. Look, I just turned it over. I want you to turn this steak once a minute, okay? By doing it once a minute, you know, if that's a steak like that, the heat is going like that, okay? And if you just leave it, then, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but moisture comes up through the steak. Not good. So keep turning it, and then you have a perfectly cooked, even steak. So, steak's cooking beautifully, noodles are nearly there, we've got nuts done already. Let's make the most incredible dressing ever.
The dressing is the key to this dish. Ridiculously simple to make, and it will bring every element of the salad to life.
The thing I love about this dressing is it's going to take you to Asia, it's going to hit all the spots, sweet, sour, fragrant, hot, you know, and it works every single time, no debate, OK? So a little trick is, if you've ever had sushi, the little piles of pickled ginger, right, is this stuff. And you can get it in the supermarkets, and you have these gorgeous little thin strips of ginger. And they come in these packets or jars where you have this liquid in here as well. We want all of that. We want all of that. That's the base of our dressing. Back to the steak. Keep your eyes peeled. Turn it. Look at the fat dancing on there. Absolutely gorgeous. OK, so in the dressing, first thing is soy sauce. 1 tablespoon. The business. Next one, fish sauce. Never drop this bottle. It smells like hell on earth. Some of the worst things in the world can be the most gorgeous. 1 tablespoon of that. And believe in the force, it will work. Then sesame oil, wonderful, almost like a smoky kind of oil. 1 tablespoon. Back to the steak. You know, the whole point of this is we're really taking care of this, right? In about a minute, I'm taking that off. We're going to use lime, right? A nice juicy lime. Give it a roll like this. Gorgeous. If you have one of these little fine graters, I absolutely recommend getting one. You get wonderful flavour from that zest, and see how easy it is. And then secondly, once you've rolled it, you've sort of broken those little capsules of lime, and you can just squeeze the juice in, and they're so much more juicy. And the last bit of the story is chilli. So I'm just going to finely slice half a chilli to go in this dressing. Job's done. Stir it up later. This steak is done. So let's just take it off. So many people struggle with cooking steak. So a few key things. Get your steak out before you cook it. Let it come to room temperature. Season it generously. Try not to get wafer-thin steaks. They'll just overcook straight away, right? And then turn it every minute till cooked to your liking. Then let it rest for a couple of minutes. Also, as soon as it comes, you know, off the heat, just, you know, the juice is going to come out. So just keep turning it in its juice, and it's going to keep it moist and lovely. Right, let's finish this salad.
The steak is resting, the dressing is made, and the noodles are softening. Now I've got a few tricks to make the salad really special in super quick time.
I'm going to start sort of almost cooking by colour and cooking by shape. And I hope you think it's as fun and exciting as I do. Slice up some salad, slice some up, click some apart, and just sort of bust that around, throw some little chunks of lettuce here. Then literally just find different things. You know, you can use whatever you've got kicking about. We've got some alfalfa. If you've never used it, it's these beautiful little sprouts here. So we're going to get some of that and just pull it apart. Look how beautiful it is. Let's slice a cucumber into slices. No sort of chefy skills at all, you know, and just chunk them up into like rough cubes, right? Nice and green. And then just throw them, you know, onto your platter. And then carrots, just get a box grater and just grate lovely long gratings of carrot. Smacking something down in the middle of the table where people can just attack it, you know, it's great. Just get your carrot, come over like this, and then just sort of dispatch all that carrot over there. Beautiful colours. You know, get your classic cress, clank it off like this, take it up, you know, put it in there, half upside down, half facing up. It's about colours, it's about contrast. You know, get just a couple of asparagus, get a speed peeler, you know, and just shave, you know, and you can get these beautiful, beautiful, elegant sort of strips. And look how beautiful that is.
Sliced so fine like this, you can eat asparagus raw and they are delicious. Remember, you can make this dish your own by using whatever veg you got available. I've got a couple of chopped spring onions, a handful of raw sugar snap peas. They slice up beautifully. Plus a few radishes with gorgeous colour and crunch.
So I think I've kind of hit it up on the veg front.
Then drain the noodles and load them up on a board or a platter. Slice the steak, spice crust on the outside, blushing in the middle, gorgeous. Get those toasted nuts and pile them on. And a final sprinkle of coriander.
That, for me, is a bold, confident statement about food. We've presented something by colour and by shape, and I think that's what cooking's all about.
Seared Asian beef with an awesome noodle salad in just 15 minutes.
You got that ass-kicking dressing that just get lunged straight onto those noodles. You can use tongs, you can use forks, just use your clean hands. That's what the big man gave them for. We've got these little limes that we can just pop, pop, pop. You know that steak's gonna be a lovely little pleasure. Let's grab him with a bit of nut. Oh, the lime is so good. The dressing guarantees you the big payoff. And of course, crunchy things and noodles, win-win. What a treat. I like it when you get a little bit of lettuce and you build up like this perfect mouthful. Where's the chilli? Give me some chilli. Come on, my little friend, chilli. Give me one solitary nut. And then you, my friend, are going in the orifice that we call gob.
First up, my chili con carne meatballs.
So we're gathered here today to bring together two beautiful things in life. The essence of a chili con carne in a meatball form with a beautiful sauce, fluffy bulgur. It's gonna be phenomenal. And of course, how can you do it in 15 minutes? Well, you've got to be clever. So I've kind of reinterpreted the flavors and the vibe and sort of added some more to give you this incredible dish.
Chili con carne takes hours to cook, but I've written this recipe for people on the go. I'm talking gnarly spiced beef meatballs, nestled in a beautiful tomato sauce, served on a bed of lemon-infused bulgur wheat, which is gorgeous, and served with a side of char-grilled chilies. Cooking the elements separately and using quick cook ingredients means that we can deliver big chili con carne flavours fast. A really exciting new twist on a traditional dish in just 15 minutes.
So we've got 3 pans on, frying pan, a pot, and a casserole type pan. I've got my kettle here, boiled, ready to go. Okay, so chili con carne, sauce, meat. We need something to sort of really soak up the beautiful flavours of the chili con carne, okay? So I'm not gonna use rice today, just to mix it up. I'm gonna be using bulgur wheat, okay? It's basically a cracked wheat. It's really delicious. It's got the sort of lightness of rice, but it's a little bit more texture, and it's gorgeous. But of course, if you don't wanna do this, you can do rice. But this is tasty. So I've got a builder's mug here. So fill that up with the bulgur, right? And then we're gonna add that to our pan here. So 1 mug of bulgur wheat to 2 mugs of boiling water, so 2 to 1, and it works every single time. It'd be light, fluffy, And you just basically cook it and use it just like rice. Now, a little trick to sort of bring this onto another planet and be absolutely gorgeous is my secret weapon in my pantry, the arsenal, which is salted lemons. Look at these bad boys, OK? Go get some. Decent supermarkets will stock them, and a stick of cinnamon. So just grab 1 or 2 of these lemons. Have a look at these lemons. They smell so fragrant. They're gorgeous, they're tiny, they're a different variety. They're just in a simple brine, but because it's a hot brine, it's brought out the flavours. This will turn any stew, any curry, any rice, any couscous dish, and any cracked wheat dish into a heavenly, heavenly thing. So in with our cinnamon, just 1 stick, then just throw in your lemons. So we put the lid on, and that'll cook for about 10 to 12 minutes. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to kind of almost go like a pilaf, and all those flavours are going to infuse, and it's going to be gorgeous. OK, meatballs. The pan is on. I've got 400 grams of lovely, lean, good quality beef. To save on washing up, I'm just removing the little bit of paper from the bottom of the dish here. You can do it in a bowl if you like washing up. I want to season this with a nice pinch of salt, pepper, and my little sort of secret spice over here is garam masala, right? It's a great spice. It's Indian. It's basically got, you know, 5 or 6 different spices in it, sort of varies. Add a heaped tablespoon and just very simply mix up your mincemeat. Then I want to divide it in half and then divide it into 4. So that's your sort of portion control, because we're making this for 4 people. And then I want this to be quite delicate, so I'm going to do 4 meatballs out of each batch. So 4 times 4 equals, come on, play with me, 16 lovely little meatballs going into my pan. So as I'm rolling them, a little trick. First of all, just get your hands wet. That'll pretty much make the meatballs just spin out of your hands in seconds and go nice and shiny. In about a minute, you should be able to get all the meatballs you want done. I'm not doing anything chefy, I'm just breaking it up, balling it up. I don't want them perfect, so if there's a bit of variant in size, that's absolutely fine. It's cooking straight away. So let me just tell you about what on earth it is that I'm doing. Chili con carne is clearly a mincemeat dish that blips away for hours, developing flavour and getting stodgy and gorgeous. And there's that kind of hum of flavour, the chilies and the spice and the gorgeousness. Obviously, we haven't got hours, we've got 15 minutes. But those flavours are in here, OK? They're in the meatballs with the garam masala, and they're in the sauce that we're about to make. And when you bring them together, they are phenomenal, phenomenal. And the people that I've cooked this for just love it. So just put 1 tablespoon of olive oil into the pan. Give that a little shake.
We want these meatballs to turn gnarly and golden, so we'll keep moving them around the pan. The bulgur wheat is bubbling away. Now's our window to make a dead simple sauce for our meatballs, full of ingredients that I know will deliver big flavours fast.
Get your liquidizer, another best friend of 15-minute meals, couldn't do without it. I'm going to add a jar of passata, which is basically crushed tomatoes, 700 mils. That goes in there like that. I want a teaspoon of smoked paprika. That's going to be big flavour, and that kind of smoky element is going to kind of give you some of those flavours that you'd get from hours of cooking. So that beautiful paprika goes in there as well. Half a bunch of coriander, stalks and all, goes straight in. Push that into there. A nice pinch of salt and pepper, of course, and a couple of spring onions, just to give it that hum of onion. And again, we haven't got hours to cook, so spring onions, they really cook beautifully and quickly. And then another little cheat that we just love is these beautiful grilled peppers. 3 of these little bad boys. You know, someone's lovingly roasted these, peeled them. The flavour is massive, and they're gorgeous. So, lid goes on, wazz it up.
The combination of sweet peppers and passata with deep smoky paprika and a kick of fresh spring onion will guarantee this sauce has a perfect mix of delicious flavours.
Beautiful. So turn that off, have a little taste. Oh, my Lord, that is good. So go straight in with the sauce. The pan I've just turned on to full whack. Obviously, you've got a lot of flavour still in that jar, so a little swig of water in here and just throw it around. You don't want to waste anything. And in it goes. That'll come to the boil very quickly. And if you think about it, these are all intelligent cheats. The passata's already cooked. The peppers are already cooked. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of just reheating beautiful things and create it into a beautiful sauce. So my balls are looking gorgeous. The bulgur, you know it's good when those little holes are kind of forming and the steam's pushing through, and that means that the water's pretty much evaporating, giving you that lovely light sort of pilafy flavour. So I'll leave the lid on there. OK, next little trick. This is not a hot sauce at the moment. It's sort of perfumed and fragrant, right? The ability for each individual person to pimp their own sauce is here. What we're going to do is prick 4 chilies. Very important to prick it, otherwise they'll explode and then you'll be wearing it. And just put your chilies over the gas like this. If you haven't got a gas stove, at the beginning of the recipe, just put the grill on and you can grill it. And then what you do is you just serve them on the board and then you just push the seeds out of the way and the skin, and then you put that chili in your little portion, in your little plate, and it's like Tabasco.
Use tongs to move your chilies and make sure you keep an eye on them. Take them off when the skins are lovely and blackened. For that final chili con carne vibe, I want 1 can of drained and washed kidney beans. But instead of slowly stewing them in a sauce, we're going to do something really special.
That pan here that is hot and full of all those beautiful meatball juices, what we're going to do is just pour these beans in here. And I'm going to take these balls out now into our sauce and just plop them in. And what's really nice is when you put these beans dry into a pan that's hot with all nice flavours and fat, you can already see it already. I'll just get 1 little bean. Can you see what's happened? Is it started to explode, right? And that is going to be amazing. So we're going to let those skins crackle and pop. All I'd like to do is put a pinch of cumin in here just to give the outside of the skins like a bit of an attitude.
This will only take a few minutes to crispen up, so this is my window to get some garnishes together.
Just quickly going to slice up just 2 spring onions here, just for garnish, sprinkling on top, looking beautiful, but that little bit of fresh onion, really simple. So quarter your lime, have a little bit of fresh coriander there, and we're ready and raring to go. If you just look at the beans now, they've gone from boring old rubbery kidney beans, and now they've popped, and the inside fluffy part have kind of come out. Completely different approach. Just take the lid off the bulgur. Smells beautiful. I'm going to go in, shaking these beautiful. They're so hot, they're sort of sizzling in there. We can turn all our gas stoves off. We get a little fork and fluff up this bulgur. Take the stick of cinnamon out, get rid of that, and then just fluff this up. And what you can do is fish out those 2 little lemons, and at the side of the bowl here, just mush it up to a mush. And they'll just disintegrate. And then we fold it all back into our lovely cracked wheat. It looks like rice, looks like kind of couscousy vibe, and it tastes fantastic. Let's serve up.
Make a big well in the steaming hot lemon bulgur wheat, ready for your chili sauce.
The fragrance of that lemon is phenomenal.
Then, in with those beautiful quick chili meatballs.
So good.
For a final flourish, sprinkle with coriander, spring onions and lime, and pop your char-grilled chilies on the side so people can add a little extra kick if they want it. A few dollops of fat-free yogurt to give a cool contrast, and we're there.
Happy days. A beautiful, beautiful dinner.
A delicious fast twist on a chili con carne comfort food feast. All of that in just 15 minutes.
You know, it's got all of those chili con carne notes in it, but it's completely different. It doesn't matter that it hasn't been a mincemeat cooked for hours and hours. You know, the balls are really golden and crisp. And then, of course, being a chili freak, I can pimp my ride however I see fit and just get those chilies in there. Go on, my son. Lovely. So quick and easy and damn good.
Next,
It's frying here, it's crackling there.
a killer flavour combo with my sticky kickin' chicken.
This kind of food just makes people so, so happy.
Stand back, because this is my sticky kickin' chicken with a watermelon, radish and crunchy noodle salad. Say goodbye to dull, predictable dinners. This dish is the daddy of exciting flavour combos. Imagine hot and sticky chicken with a caramelised bark and a succulent centre, mixed with mouthfuls of fresh salad, soft and crunchy noodles, sweet watermelon, and a buzzing Asian-inspired dressing. So ban the word bland and create a total taste sensation in just 15 minutes.
Okay, first things first, get your large pan on, medium pan on. I've got a kettle full of boiling water. You don't want to be waiting for pans of water to boil. First job is get the noodles going. So I've got about 200 grams of sort of angel hair rice noodles, which is about half of this much. Just pull it out. They really don't take that much time to cook. And if you kind of carry on boiling them in a pan, they tend to overcook and go a little bit mushy, and we don't want that. So all I'm going to do is cover them with some boiling water from the kettle. So pour it over like this and just let them sit there. Just get some tongs and move them around a little bit and they'll start to break apart. Brilliant. So just put those there. Right, next job. Very quickly, we've got to get the chicken thighs on. Chicken thighs are classically harder and longer to cook. So I've bought skinless, boneless. They're going to cook in time. Get yourself about 1 metre of grease-proof paper. Put half of it on a board like that. Just put your chicken straight on. So season the chicken with salt and pepper first, and then Chinese 5-spice. You want about a tablespoon. Just sprinkle it from a height. Brilliant, brilliant flavours of fennel seeds, cloves, Szechuan pepper, cinnamon, star anise. You know, sometimes they vary it, but it's beautiful. Get it nicely coated in those wonderful flavours. Then lay it out like this. Get yourself a rolling pin, fold the paper over, and this will tenderise the chicken, but also flatten it and also make it cook quicker. So that's the whole thing about 15-minute meals. Increase flavour and speed up the cooking. So just give it a good old bash. So look at that, it's flattened out now. You don't want to spend much time doing it. Just going to wash my hands. That pan's nice and warm already. What I want to do is add just a little bit of olive oil, not too much. Little tablespoon in there. And go straight in with the chicken. Just let it fall in like that. Get your tongs and lay it all out really nicely.
I'm going to cook them until really golden on both sides. In about 10 minutes, they'll be delicious. In the time it took to prep my chicken, my noodles have cooked. So after a drain and a teaspoon of sesame oil, I can start building up my beautiful salad. But first, I've got a trick to give these noodles some bite.
What I'm going to do is add 1/4 of these noodles to this pan here. You really don't need many. So I'm going to do some crispy noodles that are really, really crunchy and give this beautiful salad texture and attitude. And then I'm going to have soft noodles. So the soft ones go in the bottom, and you can see they're going to cool down pretty quick. So chicken's going, crispy noodles going. We've got the soft noodles there dressed in the sesame oil. Now what we're going to do is start bringing this beautiful, beautiful salad together. Now, we've got a watermelon, and so often we just cut them into smiley faces and just eat them, and of course they're delicious. But it's beautiful to use it in salads, especially Asian salads with chili, with mint, with coriander. Oh my Lord, crunchy noodles, spicy chicken. You need about 800 grams. Just cut it into nice, erratic sort of chunks. You know, let's say 1 inch or 2 in size. Just clank it all up, and then we're just going to place this in and around our beautiful platter. I've got some gem lettuce. I'm just going to cut them into quarters. You know, if they look like they're dirty, give them a little wash up. Quite brave sort of chunks like that. Radishes, really, really underused. You can cut some in half at an angle. You can leave the smaller ones whole. You can get the round ones or beautiful marble-coloured ones like these. You don't want to muck around too much. Just clank it all up. It's supposed to be like a rustic, crude, beautiful salad. So already, look at the colours in this. We want some herbs to bring this all together. So with the mint, I've got a nice bunch here. I only need about half of that bunch. Right? Instead of sitting there all picking, get the herbs, grab the top, rip it off, save these stems for cooking potatoes another day. These, good as gold, we'll have them. Same thing with the coriander. What we'll do is grab the coriander like this, just rip it off, right? We'll keep the stalks for the dressing. And I just want you to sort of clank these up. Absolutely no chef skills required. Rustic, brave, and just chunky. It's going to be really, really good.
The contrasting flavours and textures in this salad balance each other out to create a joyful combination. I'll come back to dress it later, but now I need to check on my kicking chicken.
Over to the chicken, let's have a little look here. We turn it over. Nice. You know what I love about that 5-spice? You kind of get this almost like crispy bacon-like surface on the top of the chicken. You know, normally, you know, a beautiful chicken leg or thigh is like 30, 40, 50 minutes in the oven. You know, we're cranking it away here by bashing it. It's really good. Let's have a look at the noodles. Just pull them apart. You know, you can see it's kind of going really crispy, chewy. Even if they catch a little bit, it's okay. Kind of like a crouton in a salad, and you can hear it crackling away. So for me, I mean, the thing about 15-minute meals is it's in your face. You know, it's frying here, it's crackling there, we're clanking stuff up there. I love it. I really love it.
So the building blocks of my salad are sorted. My chicken is half cooked, and my noodles are crisping up a treat, and they only need a few more minutes before I can turn them off. Now's my window to make an Asian-inspired dressing that will ignite all of the flavours in my pre-prepped salad.
So these coriander stalks, you know, I've given them a nice little wash anyway. Just bung these in a liquidizer. And things like the liquidizer are absolutely key for incredible flavour. Half a chilli goes in, OK? We want to go a little chunk of ginger. I want about a clove of garlic. I'm going to put it into my garlic crusher, and I'm just going to squeeze it in, and that'll go straight through. Raw garlic goes a long way. 2 spring onions, just trim the ends off if they're not looking so happy. About a tablespoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, about a tablespoon of fish sauce. It's going to give it that lovely seasoning. And I want about 2 limes that I'm just going to whack on this board here, put some weight into it and give them a good old roll. And that's going to help get the juice coming out of these limes. So, squeeze the lime. Now I'm just going to whiz this up. It's like a magic combination, this. Let's check my noodles. These are in a good place. They're done now. I'm going to turn this gas stove off now. The dressing, let's have a little taste. Ah, lime. It's all there. Dressing is good. Back to the chicken. Have a look at that. Right, magic trick now is put a little bit of chili sauce, just a couple of tablespoons over the top. And of course, you've got the spice there, but also it starts to caramelise and go really sticky. So we're just going to toss this or use a spoon. Can you see the beautiful shine that we've got? Look at it on there now. And then we're going to come along with some sesame seeds. You know, just from a height, sprinkle a couple of tablespoons, give them a little shake. It's so good. It's a winning combination. This kind of food just makes people so, so happy. You know, you've got texture, flavour. The fact that that chili sauce is giving it a smack, but also the sort of syrup that it's sort of in makes it just shine. So we're done. There you go.
Mix that flavour-packed, punchy dressing delicately into those soft noodles and that fresh salad.
Cresses are really, really good in this salad, even a bit of extra coriander.
Then my totally kicking chicken. Juicy and succulent on the inside, but with that sticky, gnarly bark. Mega. Finally, crackle up those crunchy fried noodles into the salad.
And the great thing about the noodles being crispy, of course, is when you start to toss it through, you get the soft, you get all the flavour, then you get the crunch. It's great, great cooking. Happy days.
A lip-smacking flavour combo your friends will go mad for. All in just 15 minutes.
The thing I love about this salad is it's fresh, it's bright, the combination is brilliant. The dressing never, ever lets you down. Chicken's just great. It's really crisp, and then inside it's juicy. You have got to give that one a try. It's so good.
First up, my tasty, crunchy, sizzling, sumptuous bowls of Asian noodles.
You're gonna love this one. It's the perfect kind of fast food. Stir frying, we've got steak, noodles. It's hitting all of the buttons.
Noodles are quick to cook, but the trick is to add oodles of flavour. So check out my bowls, brimming with gorgeous hoisin noodles, humming with garlic, chilli and ginger, joined by juicy prawns, spiced sizzling steak, toasted nuts and crunchy salad. The key to creating so much fresh food so fast is to cleverly work the kitchen. We'll get all the elements separately on the go and bring them together right at the end. This is really exciting cooking. Buzzing, flavour-packed taste of Asia in 15 minutes.
So we've got our pans ready, a pan, a wok, a pot, the kettle is on, the whole kind of 15-minute meal spirit is here. And the first job I've got up is I'm putting a little handful, a couple of tablespoons of peanuts or cashews into a wok and the same amount of sesame seeds. So we're going to sprinkle these at the end of the recipe. And they give wonderful flavour, of course. And don't go thinking that it's not worth doing this, because, of course, as soon as these nuts hit the hot pan, you know, it wakes up all the natural oils. It makes it absolutely smell and taste delicious. Just sort of keep an eye on it. This pan is nice and hot. We've got 2 sirloin steaks here. This is enough for 4 people. Sirloin's great. I think, you know, what I want for this, I want to cook it nice and quick, okay? So this bit of fat here, I want to get rid of it. It's going to go tough. I'm never going to get a chance to sort of cook it enough to make it remotely nice to eat. Also, a little bit healthier for you as well, which is good. So just use a knife or get your butcher to remove this. Easy peasy. So to season this steak, I'm going to hit it with the usual sort of pepper and salt. All right, we definitely want that. But at the same time, I want to flavour it with 5 spice, a nice sort of tablespoon, you know, from a height, do the board and the steaks. So we just rub that in, you know, use, you know, all the bits around the outside of the board to really mop up all of that flavour, and the flavour will be awesome. Of course, 5 spice is a beautiful blend of lovely, classic Asian sort of fragrant spices. Also, notice I'm just pushing it down, and that's making it slightly sort of thinner. Instead of using a regular oil, I'm going to use a small amount of sesame oil, a couple of teaspoons, goes in, and then straight, you can see the smoke coming off there, move it around, steak goes in, cook that steak to your liking. I'm going to cook it hard and fast.
I like my steak medium rare, so a couple of minutes on each side on a high heat will do the job perfectly.
My nuts look very lovely now, so we're just going to pour this in and just put them aside until later. So, the next part of the story. So 250 grams of oyster mushrooms here, great mushroom. You don't need to prep it or cut it. Just put them in the pan and we'll char them up like that. We're going to turn this steak now. Look at that. Really, really nice. Don't worry about the mushrooms. I know it looks a little bit cramped, but don't worry about it. That sort of 5 spice, can you see that lovely outside it's created there? Just shake the mushrooms. Nice.
So my steak and mushrooms are sizzling away, and my nuts are already toasted. Now, let's step up with the multitasking and get cracking with the tasty noodles.
Okay, so let's think about the base for the noodles now. Dead simple. You could do it by hand with a knife if you want to. So about 1 chilli, we want a bit of heat there. You want a thumb-sized piece of ginger. If it's in good nick, you really only have to take the little blemishes off. You don't have to peel it. Put that nice big thumb size of ginger in there. Just a couple of spring onions, you know, those classic sort of fragrance. Half a bunch of lovely coriander. Just rip that, get that in there, whiz it up just for a few seconds. Perfect. Have a look in this pan now. Just have a little look at this, right? I've got this steak here. You know, it's golden, it's got an encrustment, right? It's kind of about medium rare now, right? I'm gonna take the steaks out. They've had about 4 minutes in a really hot pan. I've got some boiling water here. Let's whack that into a pan with some noodles. 4 nests of noodles, nice egg noodles. Choose whatever shape you want. They're about 250 grams for a pack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect portioning.
The noodles will only take about 3 minutes to turn soft and lovely. Meanwhile, the steaks are resting and the mushrooms are almost done. So time to turn the blitz base into a fantastic fragrant stir fry.
Okay, the really exciting bit, a really hot wok. Let's get a little bit of sesame oil. Couple of teaspoons goes in. It will start smoking straight away. So there's definitely like a sense of urgency about the whole story. Shake in those wonderful, fragrant veggies, onions, chili, ginger, coriander. Give it, you know, a little bit of shaking about. I've got some nice fresh prawns here. You don't need loads and loads of them because you've got the steak. Do you know what I mean? It's going to make it taste delicious. These are fresh ones, so as soon as they hit the heat, they start to turn pink. I want to give a little bit of kind of perfume to the stir fry, so just a couple of cloves of garlic in a garlic crusher. Just put them into the crusher and give them a good old gun into the wok. It's going to give it beautiful flavour. Toss it up. We're going to go in with some bean sprouts here. Nice and crunchy, but they're going to cook down a real treat. Love those. Give them a little mix. And then 2 ingredients that really start to make this stir fry. So hoisin sauce, about 4 heaped tablespoons goes in. A couple of tablespoons of soya sauce. Do it around the edge of the wok. And then we go back to wok frying again.
After only a few minutes, my prawns are basically cooked. That's the beauty of wok frying. You've got to work on a high heat and keep things moving, but you get results fast.
Let's go in with the juice of 1 lime. Squeeze it in. It's all boiling up. It's all really nice and hot. There we go. We can rip up just a little bit of that coriander because we've only used half a bunch so far. Goes in. And then just drag the noodles over. Drag those noodles. Don't worry about a little bit of excess water. Just throw it in there. And of course, they're going to soak up all that beautiful flavour. And that little bit of hoisin sauce is just sticky enough and lovely enough to make it all come together. Give it a beautiful toss. All those lovely flavours. You've made it yourself. It's really quick to cook. Gorgeous. These mushrooms are ready now, by the way. Just have a little look at those. So I'm just going to put them over the steaks for the moment. These noodles are done. Gorgeous. Have a little taste. Amazing flavour. The great thing about this recipe is the combination of flavours never, ever, ever lets you down. It's good every single time.
Noodles done, so they can go straight into the bowls. Now, the final chapter in this story, a crunchy salad garnish to refresh and balance out the spice.
So just get some basic sort of salady bits. You know, grab yourself some romaine lettuce or gem, just click them off. Really, really nice. And then to go along with that, just a couple of radishes, you know, stuff that you got in the fridge maybe. Anything like sprouts or shoots. Some cress. In a matter of seconds, you can start really bringing this together to be something properly surprising. These lovely mushrooms, you can just disperse those amongst the story. So you've got so many different flavours and things going on here. It's just such a joy to eat.
Serve up one of the steaks for people to attack at the table. And finally slice the other. It's juicy and medium rare, just how I like it.
Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Fresh ingredients, prawns, steak.
Sprinkle on those toasted nuts and seeds, leaving some on the board with the lime quarters and chilli so that people can build their own perfect bowls.
Take that to a table, sit the family or friends down. They're going to be so chuffed.
A delicious lunch or dinner, bursting with flavour, texture and a total Asian vibe, all in 15 minutes.
Really, really nice food. You know that everything is fresh and delicious that's inside it. The crunch, the nuts, the steak, the noodles, the little pops of prawn. So good. Great little combo. You just feel really proud that you've knocked out something really, really good like that. Great. Beautiful.
Next,
How gorgeous. The skin just comes away from the bone.
a mighty Mediterranean fish dish that you'll want to dive straight into.
Oh.
Check out my mighty Mediterranean-style mackerel with a mixed tomato and quinoa salad. Gorgeous fresh mackerel, glossy, tasty, and so good for you. I'll show you how to cook them with loads of flavour and a really crispy skin that will make your mouth water. All set off with a summery salad of vibrant fresh tomatoes and lemon-scented quinoa. These are honest, bold flavours created super fast. With a little bit of love and care, we'll make these fresh ingredients sing. And all in 15 minutes.
I absolutely love cooking this dish. It's such a beautiful way to cook mackerel. The tomato and quinoa salad is epic. So first things first, let's get the quinoa going. Now quinoa, this is one of the most historical grains in the world. Thousands and thousands of years old. They've been harvesting, man has been harvesting and eating this beautiful stuff. And it's so funny because it's coming to England now. It's from South America traditionally, Colombia, Peru, that sort of part of the world. It makes a real change from rice. You know, 300 grams is well enough for 4 people. It's about a mug's worth, builder's mug's worth. Just throw it in there, cover it generously with water, get that on full whack, and then I'm going to season it with a good pinch of salt, and then I'm going to put half a lemon in there as well, just to get some fragrance out of the skin, and also that will just boil up, and then I can squeeze the lemon juice in there later, and it'll be gorgeous.
The quinoa will take roughly 10 minutes to cook, leaving me free to get on with the hero of the dish, my fish.
I've got 4 beautiful mackerel. Just look at that. Absolutely lovely. I mean, you know, they're part of the tuna family. They're like torpedoes in the sea. They're so fast. But look at them, they're so beautiful. And I've got to say, you've got to get fresh mackerel. The relationship between you and your fishmonger, be it in the supermarket or your local market, is so important. If he says the mackerel's rocking, you've got to get it. So I want to show you a quick way of preparing it so it cooks in less than 10 minutes, right? We're going to get going now. So I want to get a knife and just score quite crudely down to the bone, right? Every sort of 1.5 centimetres. This helps us visually, flavour-wise and speed-wise, which is classic 15-minute meals territory. So the last one we score up. So now we've got all these beautiful sort of scored edges, right? That's all just gagging for flavour, right? Beautiful. So we're going to season the fish and the paper from a height, and then we get our secret ingredient out, a nice heaped teaspoon of the ground coriander, and just put that, again, all over the place. Basically rub it in the salt and the coriander, get it into all the little cracks. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons in the pan. The pan is nice and hot. We're going to go in with our fish. You want a big, large pan so you can fit these boys in. There we go. Everything that I'm trying to work here is about cooking it quick, keeping it juicy on the inside, and that crispy skin, so it's a pleasure to eat that skin. You want to encourage people to eat the skin, and the only way to do that is by it being crispy and delicious.
My killer tip here is to leave the fish alone. If you keep touching it, the skin won't crispen up. And trust me, crispy mackerel skin is a tasty treat not to be missed. So time for the third part of this story, the tomato salad.
Come forth and have a look at this. Tomatoes, there's hundreds of varieties. Come here. This is part of the reason that, you know, supermarkets chose to go away from some of these heirloom varieties. It's not the best looking fella in the world, but it tastes like heaven. If you get down the farmers markets, and even the supermarkets now are doing their bit to bring back some of the interesting ones. So I'm gonna have nice big slices of our tomato like this, and I'm gonna start distributing it around this board like that. Okay, and then the same, like, just do odds and sods here. Strange little shapes in and around, boom, 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 all over the place. We'll do little half cherries And the idea is we want little quarters here. Just rattle through them quickly or as badly as you want to do it. It really doesn't matter. Quarters, real odd slices, all the odd shapes and stuff like that. So look at that. Let's get an orange one. These orange ones, I've been growing these myself, and they are lovely. So beautiful. Why would you not want to make use of all those different looks?
So our platter is already starting to come together. Now's a good chance for me to check if my mighty mackerel is ready to turn.
All right, let's get a fish slice. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if you break it up, you know, it really isn't. But obviously, we're trying to do a nice job here. Go with the tail first and try and ease it up. If it looks like it's nice like that, look at that. Happy days. Again. Beautiful. That just makes me happy. We have a little shake up. Okay, that's half cooked now, okay? What I want to do is encourage some extra flavours. I'm just going to squash this garlic here. Use your hand. You don't have to do the knife trick. I'm going to just pour all that natural fat has started to come out of this fish. And I've got a little pool there. All right, just mix it around. Let's get the garlic going. Here. Now, what do I need? Rosemary. Just a couple of sprigs of rosemary. So I'm just going to pick off some of these leaves. And it don't look like much at the moment. But if I get some tongs and get this tossed up in some of this fat, you're going to see some beautiful colours. And the flavour is just going to be great. And then we start scattering it all around the place in the little gaps. Really, really nice.
So the mackerel's looking beautiful and crispy and nearly cooked. Now it's time to check on our lemon-infused quinoa.
Oh, it's good. So this quinoa's cooked, and that lemon has already started the journey of putting that quinoa in a good flavour place. Do you know what I mean? So get rid of that. That's all fallen out. So look, once this is drained for a second, we can just squeeze this lemon, which is very hot, like that, and just toss the quinoa in that. It's going to be lovely. And then very simply, go to the middle of our board here and just put the quinoa in the middle. Yes, it's hot, but it's going to cool down pretty damn quick. And just move that like this. To finish the tomato salad off, I just want to, from a height, get nice sea salt and just very subtly sprinkle lovely sea salt around the tomatoes. We do exactly the same with some black pepper. And then I want to get a chilli. Chilli and tomatoes are absolutely delicious. Just put a few flecks over the tomatoes. If they fall on the quinoa, that's lovely. And again, from a height, just scatter. And then just a little bit of olive oil. Just do a nice little zigzag, probably about a tablespoon and a half. Get some nice thick aged balsamic vinegar and just do crisscrosses in quite a bold sort of way. And then this fish is definitely done. Now it's going to be fragile because it's cooked on both sides. And you don't want it to bust. So we're going to use the fish slice. And we're going to get under its head like that. And we're going to lay it like that. Same with this one as well. Oh, it's so nice. The thing is, what's really good with this is you know it's cooked because you've cut right down to the bone. So you can look right into the core of the fish. Last fish goes in. I'm just going to put some of that beautiful rosemary from the pan and the garlic. It's all kind of adding to the story. Beautiful.
We're pretty much there. For one last flavour punch, check this out. I'll mix 2 heaped tablespoons of zero-fat yoghurt with 2 teaspoons of tangy horseradish.
If you like a bit of salt and vinegar on your chips or applesauce with your roast pork, you're gonna love this.
A dollop on each mackerel will give a gorgeous, refreshing kick. And finally, a sprinkle of fresh basil.
When you get mackerel that's really ace, please try that, because it will become one of the kind of home staples.
Simple, fresh ingredients transformed into a showstopper, all in just 15 minutes.
Right, have a look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Come on, have a little look. Beautiful dish. And if I may, you know, this skin here just comes away from the bone really easily. So good. And with the horseradish sauce. Oh! You've got to try that one.
First up, my 15-minute meal twist on a fabulous French dish.
Okay, ratatouille is that great French classic, and what I want to do is take the essence of that, do it really quickly and lighter with some new little ideas. You're going to love this.
This gorgeous take on a ratatouille has loads of tasty griddled veg in a rich tomato sauce, all made much faster and with much less oil than the traditional version. And I'm serving that with beautiful juicy herb-dressed steak and a fragrant lemon and saffron rice. The perfect Mediterranean dish for four in just 15 minutes. Time to crack on with my ratatouille.
First things up, we've got aubergine and courgette. The first job is quite simply just take the ends off the stalks, and I'm going to half the courgette, literally straight down the middle, just like that. Dead simple. That goes straight onto a char grill. As usual with 15-minute meals, you know, I've got my kettle boiled, I've got my pans out for my veggies and my rice, and my griddle pan on as well. Make sure you push the veggies down so they're getting full contact. Slice the aubergine just over a centimetre thick, like that. Sometimes you see people putting oil on veggies on the grill. I personally never, ever, ever do it in any situation, because what I want to do is sort of bring out the natural flavour of the veg, and then when it comes off, then kiss it with beautiful oils and herbs and, you know, things like that. That'll be fine. Squeeze them in there. Make sure they're all sort of touching the bars, and we forget about that for a couple of minutes until they're charred on both sides. OK, so we've got veggies on. Next job up, I need my kettle of boiling water and some rice. So that classic fluffy rice recipe that I'm doing, I've got some nice basmati rice, and I just want to do 1 full builder's cup of basmati, and then fill it up with 2 cups of boiling water. So there's 1, there's 2, and then there's a key flavour that I want to get in there to make it really, really exciting. And I've got some saffron here. You know, it is expensive, and you only need a little bit like that. And look at that. Still by weight, one of the most expensive things on the planet, but we only need a little bit, thank the Lord. And when you put that into the water, this incredible flavour comes out. It's amazing. Of course, a pinch of salt, so it's got some seasoning, and just gonna quite crudely cut a lemon in half, and I'm just gonna plop 1/2 of a lemon in there, give it a shake, lid on top, on a medium heat, 10 minutes. That's gonna be light, fluffy, perfect, kind of golden and perfumed and lovely.
Leave the saffron to work its magic. Now let's get some bold flavours going on with this ratatouille. But before stirring, we're going to concentrate on turning to bring out the delicious nutty flavour of the veg.
Nice and dark. You want the colour, don't be scared of it. It brings out a completely different flavour. A ratatouille is a really heavily guarded, you know, sacred recipe, and it's delicious and it's stodgy and it's heavenly. Classic Provence dish, right? But like, what I'm trying to do is take the essence of those combinations and do it in a light, quick, contemporary way. So we've got charred elements. Now, the other veggies, of course, are things like onion. I've got peppers. I've got some garlic. So very simply, I want to just peel the onion, half it and remove the skin. And we'll slice these red onions up any old how, it really doesn't matter. So just a little bit of olive oil in here. And the way of doing it has got way less olive oil than the traditional version. With the peppers, just push these seeds in, and then you can just tear it open and remove the seeds in one, which is a nice little fast tip. So push it in, tear it open, and there it is, ready and raring to go. And then just clank up the peppers. You know, cut them up into any size. I'm looking for absolutely no precision. You know, the worst thing in the world is picking up a recipe and it says cut it into exactly a certain size, and it's like, oh, God, I've got better things to do with my life.
That's 2 lots of veg for my ratatouille. Next, I'm going to crank up the flavour quickly with some of my favourite taste enhancers, anchovies and harissa.
So the anchovies, again, are going to give, you won't taste it, it'll just become a blur of wonderful seasoning. So just a couple of anchovy fillets will disappear into that dish. Harissa, Moroccan, it's basically like an oil, a flavoured oil of wonderful different chilies. So a nice little heaped teaspoon of that in there is going to give a wonderful hum of spice. So it smells fantastic. I'm just going to crush some garlic here. 2 or 4 garlic, depending on how fruity you feel. I don't bother peeling the garlic when I've got one of these crushers, because quite frankly, all I do is just gun it straight in like that. Let's put a 5th one in. Come on, let's get a bit of France in there. Whoosh. Really exciting flavours going on. The garlic and the harissa and the anchovies are all sort of cooking into each other, which is beautiful. If you look at these 2 pans, it's real opposites. You've got brightness and sweetness and all that perfume of the ingredients. Then you've got the courgette and the aubergine that are kind of being charred, and they're kind of going more savoury and nutty. And I love that sort of mixing of it up. So all I'm going to do is just grab a pair of tongs and literally hack through it like that in no particular fashion and get that in there. So there's a charred and that fresh element. Really, really nice. Don't worry about the size or the shape. I thought probably leave those whole. As they cook, they're going to fall apart anyway. So let's just sort of finish this story and get this kind of put to bed. Another little cheat, I'm using balsamic vinegar just to sort of work, about a tablespoon, just work with that sweet and sourness, okay? And then passata, 700 millilitres, as you can use tin tomatoes if you want. Pour that in, and then I'll finish that by seasoning it and a bit of basil, and we'll be really, really in a good place.
Leave the ratatouille bubbling on a medium heat. Now for the next key element of the dish. Gorgeous, juicy, succulent steaks.
Obviously, when you're buying sirloin steak, you know, look for a nice bit of meat, nice marbling, like that. So first of all, I'm just going to whip that fat off. That's reduced the fat immediately by more than 50%, and it's made it easier to cook as well. I'm going to season this with salt and pepper. And then I've got some lovely smoked paprika. You can use sweet or smoked. Look at the colour of that. So nice. Just want a little teaspoon. And just, again, pat that. Use the actual board to season the other side. So look, no oil in this pan at all, again. Straight on the griddle pan. Turn it every minute until it's cooked to your liking. 2 steaks there will easily be enough in this style of cooking for 4 people. It really will, because we're going to slice them up nice and thin. It's going to be gorgeous.
So everything's on the go. The saffron rice is infusing and the ratatouille is becoming richer by the minute.
Oh, heavenly.
And as my steaks sizzle, I've got a tasty trick to enhance them even more with big flavours fast.
So what I'm going to do is a board dressing. Really, really simple. I'm going to use some parsley, just tear some off, and just roll it all up. Just chop it up so it's kind of fine. As soon as that meat has come off the grill, if you don't sort of give it a little lick of something oily, it starts to dry, and then it starts to get tough. So what I'm going to do is create like a little welcoming party for our steaks, okay? So parsley is really nice. Just distribute that around the board, right? I'm just going to turn this steak, because like I said, every minute you want to be able to turn this. Look at that. Nice bar marks. Really good. And I'm going to turn it the other way. So, back to the dressing. I want a heaped teaspoon of mustard. Then just a little drizzle of good quality oil, just a tablespoon is enough to do the trick. And the juice of 1/2 of a lemon that we got left over. So it's a kind of dressing. All we do now is just get a fork or a spoon or something and just mess this all around. And as soon as that lovely steak comes off the grill, we've got something nice to roll it around in. Beautiful. The one thing I've got to do to the ratatouille, you know, I can have a little taste just to double check that seasoning's in a beautiful place. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm all right in seasoning. Be quite brave with basil. Take big hunks of it and just tear it up. Give it a nice little mix. These are all turned off now. Get your steaks, go straight over to this beautiful dressing and just move them around, and it's going to be so tasty.
Slice that beautiful juicy steak. Dish out that fluffy flavoursome rice. Get dolloping with some fat-free natural yoghurt. And finally scatter some more basil for a great fresh flavour.
So there you go, guys. A beautiful grilled ratatouille and fluffy saffron rice. Incredible steak in its own sort of dressing, all in under 15 minutes. Brilliant. It's amazing the flavour that you can get from that grilled ratatouille really quickly. Such big flavours, so quick, gorgeous.
Next, I'll show you how to cook California style.
Look at that beautiful colour. You know that that's good for you.
With this San Fran chicken salad full of vibrant flavour surprises.
Come to the world of mango. A little bit of everything on that platter.
Now my San Fran salad is bursting with fresh ingredients that really remind me of sunny California. Gnarly blackened chicken, beautiful fresh mango, and a crumbling of feta are just a few taste contrasts in this mouth-watering dish. Served on a beautiful bed of herby quinoa. If you haven't cooked it before, I'll show you just how easy it is. Mixed with a zingy dressing, it's super tasty too. This is a mega salad full of great flavour surprises, all in just 15 minutes.
This makes an absolutely fantastic lunch or dinner, and if you're going to have salad for lunch or dinner, you might as well do it properly. Now, a few years ago when I was living in Los Angeles, California, you know, one of the most fertile parts of America, the stuff they grow is fantastic. Citrus, tomatoes, greens, sprouts, salads. So, you know, with all those things available to us now in the supermarkets, I just wanted to bring a little bit of that sunshine to home. So we're going to have a base of quinoa in the salad. Quinoa, you could use rice, you could use couscous. Quinoa has been around for thousands of years, and it's fantastic. It's really simple. I'm just going to use about a cup, builder's cup, or 300 grams of quinoa. I'm going to sort of generously cover that with boiling water and simply cook it for about 8 minutes. It's kind of like rice. As it is, it's just nutty and light and fluffy. Of course, it's a wonderful carrier of sauces, curries, stews. Just cover it generously with boiling water, turn it on, lid on, 8 minutes. We'll drain it, and then while it's warm, we'll put beautiful things around it. Now, while we're on the subject of the quinoa salad, I want to just put some of these beautiful flavours together in a processor. That's going to be tossed through the quinoa to make a beautiful base of a salad. So 1 chilli, I want to have a nice little half bunch of coriander going in there. I've got a 100-gram bag of washed, ready to go spinach. Just squeeze that in there. And 2 or 3 spring onions, get that in there as well. Then mint. Mint is so bright and beautiful. Just grab it. I don't want to be sitting there picking anything. Just twist off those lovely edible leaves there. Throw that in as well. Put the processor on, wazz it up. And the great thing about 15-minute meals is we're using this kit to speed up. Instead of sitting there for 5 minutes chopping, boom, all done in there, flavours all blended up, mixed and ready to go.
So there's an exciting blast of flavour for the quinoa. Now I've got a few tricks to cut down the cooking time and crank up the taste of our chicken.
So I am only using 2 beautiful succulent breasts there. That's for 4 people. And when you see what I do to it and how I slice it up, you just don't need to eat as much meat as you think you do. I'm going to bash the chicken out. By doing that, you're going to make it cook quicker, which is exactly what we want in 15-minute meals, and it's going to tenderise it as well. So I've got about a teaspoon of smoked paprika going in there, salt, some pepper, and then a lovely ingredient that's so important, allspice, or as the Jamaicans would call it, or West Indians, pimento, right? A heaped teaspoon of that, and it's going to give you a gnarly, dark, caramelised, gorgeous kind of crust to the chicken. And then because we're cooking the chicken so beautifully fast, it's going to be juicy and white inside. So chalk and cheese, love all that. So just shake the chicken around. All I want you to do is just sort of gently tap it, use a pan or anything sort of heavy, feel where the breast is, right, and just sort of pat it. You want it to be about 1.5 centimetres thick. It's going to pound those spices and flavours into the chicken. So exciting. You know, I've really fallen in love with the kind of energy and speed of 15-minute meals. It's no mucking about. Get on with it, smash it up, get the flavours in there. So let's have a look in here. Gorgeous. So we already have a nice hot pan. We want about a tablespoon of oil, and then just shake the oil around. You can see it's smoking hot. We're going to go in with that. This is going to cook in about 5 minutes. Flavour will be off the chart.
Leave that chicken to sear on a medium-high heat to bring out all of those smoky, rich flavours and create a beautiful blackened crust.
The next thing that's going to happen is I've got some beautiful peppers, right? Beautiful peppers, red, yellow. Tear it open like that. Simply remove this, and then I just want to tear the yellow pepper into a few pieces. Don't really care what. So get rid of the seed. We're going to tear that up. OK, just have a look at this chicken, right? It might even look burnt to you, but please, it's not burnt, right? That is the encrustment of that beautiful allspice. So it's very exciting flavours going on there. Reds, yellows, look at that.
Now for a big old helping of San Fran sunshine. In the form of a super tasty mango. Big pops of fruity freshness to make this salad come alive.
Come to the world of mango. Let's just look at the anatomy of a mango. This little creature has been annoying me and many of the people in Britain for many years. I'm going to show you how I do it. Go to the stalk here at the top, right? And we're going to go down and you're going to hit a seed. And when you do, just gently flare out. And then as it goes easy, push back in to follow the shape of the seed, OK? And then we do that on the other side, right? So down we go, hit the seed, then try and work around it, and then sort of curve the knife in so we've gone as close as we can to that little seed. You can see it there, right? So first of all, let's deal with this part. There's a couple of ways you can do it. There's the old-fashioned, classic hedgehog. Impresses kids every single time. Just score gently down to what you think is the base of the skin. Bear with me, because I know you're probably thinking I'm gone mad, right? In a crisscross. You can just pop this out, right? And it's terribly sort of, 1980s, but also it's quite a nice way of just nicking these off and you get your lovely little cubes like that. So that's one way of doing it. Here's another go at the mango. Slice it through the skin 3 times, and then this is the easiest way, I think. You just put your knife above the skin here and just push it through with your hands out the way. And then you simply go boop, 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 boop. At the same time, we have got more meat here. Just push your knife under the skin, and that's often for the cook, this bit, to have a little nibble on. Chef benefits.
So my mango is chopped, chicken's turning a deep shade of brown, peppers are sizzling, and the quinoa is plumping up nicely. Now it's time to bring all of the elements together.
The chicken's looking good now, right? It's lovely and gnarly and frying. We can just hold the chicken up, look at the juice coming out of the chicken, and just toss your peppers in that. That's all flavour, that is. Really, really good. And if you feel the chicken's done, just place the chicken on top of the peppers or put it on a plate, but don't overcook it. So let's have a look here. So we've got the quinoa. It's plumped up, it's cooked up. Let's just drain that. So give that a drain. And when it's looking good, I'm just going to scatter this quinoa onto my big platter or board. I'm using a massive tray here. You know, instead of mucking about in little bowls, platters, boards, trays, it's all good. So while that's sort of steaming down, don't forget we've got this flavour here. So I'm just going to sprinkle this over the top. Look at that, beautiful colour. You know that that's good for you. That's going to flavour the quinoa in the most beautiful way.
Dress the salad simply with a drizzle of olive oil and a really good squeeze of fresh lime. Get those lovely charred peppers on and beautiful bombs of mango. Phenomenal.
And then the chicken here, you know, it's dark and gnarly. And all we do is just slice like that. Dark with the white, really beautiful.
I've hit the deep flavoursome base of this salad. Now to bring in more bright sunny elements. Spoon out one creamy avocado.
I love using the teaspoon because you get these lovely sort of almost like waves of avocado, which are just gorgeous.
Crumble on 50 grams of tangy feta.
Just colours and that saltiness. It's almost like a kind of seasoning, not like a cheese.
Tear up what's left of your coriander. Add some good old-fashioned cress. Then finish off with a sprinkling of natural yogurt and fresh chilli. Job done.
So there you go, a Californian-inspired salad. Fantastic.
A fabulous fresh taste of California in just 15 minutes.
All I want to do is eat you. So much going on. What I love about this salad is there's a little bit of sunshine in your life. Do you know what I mean? You've got the slightly hot chicken, and then you get a little hit of mango, then the creaminess of avocado, the sprouts, the quinoa's gorgeous. It's lovely that you can kind of take those flavours of sort of America, Mexico, bring it back home, and have a lovely, lovely little meal. Gorgeous.
You know what I mean?